Huh? Oh. Oh yeah. That's right, I was gonna do a vlog. Whew, boy. It's been a rough week. 3 weeks, actually. Or 4. Hey folks, BlackCross here, and I know it sounds kind of weird right now because of how I'm sounding. Currently, I have a sinus infection going on at the moment, but surely to goodness, hopefully within the next week I'll get to feeling better. But, I have some good news, some sad news, and some awkwardly strange news to talk about in terms of my life and everything like that. So, just to go ahead and get this out of the way, the good news is that we are officially finally moving. Yes, October 17th is indeed the day that we're finally going to be moving in. All the paperwork is done. Got all of that done in one day, and I was just so exhausted, I basically just passed out on my bed. Just passed out. That's all I did, I just slept. And then got back up. But at any rate though, I want to go ahead and kind of give out some details, because as the timing of this recording, it is officially Wednesday, the, Wednesday the 11th. So basically, this is going to be released on Sunday, or I may release it on Saturday, I don't know. Whenever this video comes out, you'll know the new detail, but basically, Sunday is going to be the, last day that I will be uploading videos until I get moved in completely and get everything rearranged and stuff like that. And by that point, I will go ahead and continue uploading videos from there. And I've got a lot of videos made ahead enough time, which is a good thing, because dadgummit, these last 3 weeks sucked. Okay? Which I'll get to that in just a sec, but I basically recorded a lot of videos ahead enough time to where that way, whenever we do get moved in and everything like that, if for some reason we do get internet connected on day 1 after we move in, then I can just start uploading videos from there. Now, there are a couple things I want to go ahead and talk about at this current moment in time, so that way we can kind of get these stuff out of the way and we can move on to the main event that I'm looking forward to. So, first things first. Basically in terms of Kingdom Hearts videos, we might be back to our normal 2 videos per Sunday type meal. I don't know yet. If nothing else, me and Dalmar still need to test out everything to make certain it's going to work after we move in and stuff, because I've got the cable connectors that we're going to need in order to, like, be able to record the footage of gameplay as well as our audio. But in terms of, like, how it's going to work out in the end, I do not know yet. It's a matter of we're going to have to test it and see what happens. And hopefully nothing bad happens. Hopefully nothing bad happens. I'm hoping that everything works out perfectly. You know, absolutely perfect. But, at any rate though, now in terms of, like, my regular videos, because see, we are still playing through The Witcher 3 as well as Tales of Berseria. And I'm not quite sure how much further I am in both of them. I'm sure by the time you'll see the videos and everything like that, you'll see where I'm at and you'll probably know how far I am into the game. Now, here's a couple things I want to go ahead and talk about. In terms of The Witcher 3, I'm doing the Witcher quests on my own time. As for the side quests, I will more than likely play them on the channel to where you can see them and everything like that, see my reactions and stuff. But in terms of, like, actual quests and stuff like that, the Witcher quests are something else entirely that I'm going to be doing on my own time. Because Witcher 3 is long enough on its own, and I feel like it's probably a good idea just for me to go ahead and just kind of like, I suppose the term would be level grind, but really just completing quests just to level up and stuff like that would probably be the best way of explaining it. Because if I were to play the game only through my YouTube channel, it would probably be well over 200 videos, I want to say. Probably well over. And I want to go ahead and get The Witcher 3 done the main game, of course. Not so much DLC, which I'll talk about that in just a sec. But I want to get done with The Witcher 3 before I get ready to start the main event that I'm looking forward to, which is live streaming. And I'll get to that detail in just a sec, but to recap on Witcher 3, the DLC that is available for the game, I might play those, but I haven't decided if I want to play them through live stream or if I just want to play it as like a regular episode and release it then. It's one of those things where it's like I'll have to do some planning on that part. If I do end up doing it as just a regular episode, they're going to be a limit of 30 minutes per video, and I will be releasing them as according. In terms of that, though, The Witcher 3, we'll be getting done with the main game first. And then sometime later on, probably within the next 2 months, I'll probably get started on The Witcher 3 Heartstone, or Heart of Stone, something like that. I think that's what the first DLC is technically called, but I know the second one is like Blood Wine or something like that. But the point is that I will get to the DLC later on in time. Excuse me. However, though, I'm losing my train of thought. Oh yeah, that's right. In terms of live stream, I'm wanting to do a test stream, hopefully in November. I'm hoping to get everything done with Tales of Berseria and The Witcher 3 before November comes around. And I want to do a test stream on November because by this point I'll have a better internet connection and I can actually do live stream from here on out. We'll have to see how that turns out, though. You know, that's the biggest thing. I want to make certain it works out perfectly. And from what everyone's told me, this particular internet corporation that I'm getting signed up and connected to the apartment that me and Dom are going to be in is the best that this town can provide, apparently. But hopefully it's good enough to where I can actually do live stream, in which case I'll be able to actually, you know, live stream from here on out, you know. And in terms of live streaming, depending on how things work out, and I say depending on how things work out, there will be a 2-day per week stream, being that of Tuesday and Wednesday. And I want to say anywhere between 4 or 5 hours per day, you know, of those 2 days. And those are basically the days that I am off. So, first they're going to be the test stream, which I'm still trying to debate on what game I want to test stream with. But in terms of like the first official game to do live streaming with, it's going to be Final Fantasy. Yeah, Final Fantasy 1. I've been wanting to play that for quite some time, ever since I first picked it up and everything like that. And I was like, you know what, let's hold this one off for just a little bit longer, because December 18th was the date that it came out in Japan. Basically, this coming up December 18th is the official 30th anniversary for Final Fantasy. And I was like, you know what? We'll save it for December. We'll play through Final Fantasy 1 on live stream in December. How well things go from there, I don't know yet, but we'll see how things go. We'll see what happens. Now, in terms of like the actual videos themselves, being that of Tales of Berseria and The Witcher 3, like I said, I'm hoping to get those done before November, or at least halfway through November, to where I can do a test stream of it. But if we do get done with Tales of Berseria and The Witcher 3 in time, I will start releasing those videos at a faster pace, because I have a better internet connection, which means I can upload more videos faster. So you may see a change in video releases probably by the last week of October, if not probably by the second week of November, depending on how things go. Again, there's still the process of me moving into the apartment itself. So basically, this next 2 weeks, I'm not going to be recording anything at all, because like I said, I've got enough videos stacked up to where I'm prepared to release videos. I just got to pack all of this now. to be moving and everything. And I thought about it, I may do like a special moving video for you guys to watch. I don't know, I haven't really decided on that one yet. But we'll just have to see how things go. We'll just have to see if I'm able to record everybody and help them moving and stuff like that. I may do it. If not, I'll just talk about it at a later date. But the point is that moving is finally official now. We're finally moving. Everything is organized. Everything is right on time. In terms of like preparing for the next week, it's gonna be a long process. It's gonna be a long process. So that information is out of the way. So this is where it gets to be sad news part. So if you want to skip this over, you're more than welcome to skip it on ahead. But if you want to hear the details of what happened in the previous 2 weeks, just hear me out. So, in one of my videos, you've noticed that I basically had to stop recording, and then it was another day entirely that I picked up recording. On that particular day, our dog, Cody Lou Mullins, that's his full name, and before you ask, no, there isn't a family member, it was our pet dog. He passed away that particular week. And I believe he was 17 years old. For a dog, that's a long-ass time. That was a long-ass time. But Cody, whenever we reached around 16 years with him, I knew it would eventually come where he would eventually pass away, but I didn't know when it would happen. I didn't know if it would happen after me and Daniel's move. I didn't know if it was going to happen before then. At the end of the day, it happened weeks before we move in, or at least a couple weeks at this point. And it affected us a little bit, you know. It just kind of it really, really hurt us. But at the same time, we also knew that it was eventually coming, so I wouldn't go as far as to say, like, again, it's complicated to explain because, again, he was old, but at the same time, he was our dog. So it was just kind of hard to admit the fact that, you know, he's no longer here anymore. Heck, there have been a couple times, because see, Cody was at a point at his age where he was kind of stumbling across the floor. Not like tripping over anything like that, but he was like scooting a little bit, and you can kind of hear like the little, like that. You could hear that, and when you hear it, it sounds like Cody's walking towards you. But when you look out the door and you don't see anybody, you're like, oh yeah, that's right. Cody's no longer with us. So it's kind of hard to admit that. It's kind of hard to get over that. But at the end of the week, we eventually got over it. But not completely, though. Eventually, we had another dilemma. Some of you probably remember in Delmar's video where he had a pet rabbit by the name of Bonnie. Well, I hate to be the one to say this news too, but we lost Bonnie as well within the next following week after Cody's death. And Bonnie, I could not imagine. Actually, I know how Daniel felt. It was terrible. And I know Dalmar probably won't do a video talking about it, because to him this is personal, but to me it hurts so badly because we lost basically two of our family members. You know, we lost Cody and now we've lost Bonnie. And it bothers me, you know, it hurts. Because, you know, originally we were going to be moving into the apartment and we were going to have Bonnie there, and now that she passed away, she's no longer with us anymore. I know for Daniel, this is probably the hardest experience he'll go through right now. Because used to, he would usually wake up and he'll first see Bonnie in her cage. And now when he gets up, he doesn't see her. And it's sort of the same situation with Cody. Now we have to get used to the fact that they're no longer around anymore. And if any of you have ever experienced a loss of a pet, it's pretty much as bad as losing a family member, if not quite the equivalence of it. And especially if the years go on, like with Cody and stuff, it builds up. Or if you have a deep connection with someone like Daniel with Bonnie, it affects you. So, again, despite the fact that we're finally moving out into the apartment finally, which is good news, the fact that we lost 2 of our animal companions is hurtful. It really is. So, it hurt really badly for me and Daniel, and we're getting better, you know. The whole being able to move and everything's working out so far is good and all. We'll eventually get over it, but it's going to hurt for a while. Now, in terms of other stuff, I do want to go ahead and talk about something personal. In the process of moving and everything like that, you know, the past 2 months, whenever we've officially made confirmations of like, yeah, we're going to be moving into the apartment and everything like that, and this is before we had all the paperwork signed and everything like that, you know, get electric and stuff like that. But in the process towards getting ready for all that, we informed our dad that we were moving to an apartment finally. And there's a story to talk about this. Years ago, after our grandmother passed away, our dad basically moved himself into his mother's house. Now, that being the thing, because see, here's the situation. The land that my dad's family own is basically, I want to say, last I heard, it was like 49 acres. I may be wrong. I may have to relook at that. But basically, there are like 4 houses that sit in that acreage. 2 on one end of the road and 2 on the other end of the road. And basically on this side of the road, my grandmother and my dad was living in 2 different houses at the time. Well, when she passed away, my dad decided to move into that one. So at that point, me and Daniel was like, at that point where we were graduating from high school and stuff, and we were like, hey, since you're moving out of the house, can we move into it? And Dad was like, oh yeah, sure, no problem, no problem. You just gotta clean the house, is all. And we were like, okay, yeah, we'll clean the house. We cleaned the house perfectly, and there was no remodeling done, of course, but we just basically cleaned out all of the junk and everything that was in there built for the past years. However, though, a situation happened where me and Delmar couldn't move out right away. Our mother basically had surgery on her shoulder at the time. And basically, it postponed us from moving out because of the fact that we had to help her pay for the house payment and stuff like that. But, about a month later, Dad informs us that his stepson was looking for a place to stay for a while. And we were like, it's going to be about 6 months before we can actually move into this house. So we were like, sure, yeah, he can stay in there for a little bit if he wants to. Well, that little bit ended up turning into a longer period of time. And there were some very mixed arguments, well, not so much arguments, but mixed information that had been given to us. We were told that technically he was getting a better job. We were told that he was going to go into Tennessee Tech. We were told he was eventually going to move out and stuff. At the end of the day, it eventually never happened. And at this point, I was like, you know what? If he's not going to move out, fine. You know? I'll eventually get an apartment instead. You know, I'm tired of waiting. Because at this point, he's not going to move out anytime soon, from the way it sounds. Well, turns out it's been 5 years since that happened. And basically, we told Dad that we were moving into an apartment. And Dad was like, funny you should mention that. At this point, I'm like, what? He's finally moving out. From what he was told, he will be moving out in October to basically go to college. He's going to be moving out in October. And I'm like, the exact same time period that we're going to be moving into the apartment! Are you kidding me? It's like I was telling my best friend and everything like that. It's like the gods are basically laughing their asses off because of the ironic gesture that I had just went through. It's like, here we have the plans. Get the car payment done by September and move in by October. And he's moving out by October. I'm like, oh my gosh. However, though, that does not mean that I am done yet. Now, the apartment itself, I basically thought about this, and I said the apartment is a good idea to start off with. Basically, it's going to be building me and Delmar in terms of, like, controlling our money spending, learning better responsibilities and stuff like that, and kind of help us mature a little bit, I suppose the phrase would be. And I think it's a good idea to start at an apartment right now. But, we talked about it with our dad, and we told him, and this was the phrase that I said, should things not work out, if things don't work out, and Dad actually jumped in, he said, yes, you can move into the house. Which tells me he's always wanted us to move into that house. He's always known we wanted to move in there, because, you know, we cleaned it, we took care of it, we made certain that it was sprucing up and stuff, and while yet there are some home improvement stuff that it needs done, that doesn't mean that those are impossible to do. We can eventually do those at any time. But of course, the biggest problem is the fact that once me and Daniel moves into the apartment, it won't be until a year before we can move into the actual house. And I know this is going to be confusing and everything like that, but the truth is that everything's already done. So there's no point in changing our minds now. So like I said, if things don't work out with the apartment, which we will still be living there for at least a year, I would like to eventually move into the actual house that me and Delmar have been planning to move in for years. And honestly, the benefits, despite the fact that that house has some remodeling thing that needs to be done, you know, the master bedroom bathroom isn't functional, we have to fix that. The utility room, the laundry room rather, needs to be, I suppose, remodeled. I would say remodel would be a good idea at this point. Maybe the kitchen could be updated, maybe. And Dad said that he was thinking about replacing all of the carpets in the house. Which honestly, if you wanted to do that, that's up to him. But honestly, I don't see a reason for us to pull the carpet out unless it's that old. In which case, yeah, it kind of needs to be changed out too. But I'm not giving up on that house yet. I have not given up on it yet. Hopefully, within the year, as we're moved into the apartment, we can help out remodeling the house and stuff. And as it gets closer for the year to end and everything like that, me and Delmar can eventually move from that apartment and into this house. But that's a long-term process that's later on in the future, probably within the next year. Who knows what's going to happen between now and next year? Who knows, really? For all I know, maybe things will get better, things may stay still for a long time. I'm not sure. But I'm hoping that after me and Delmar moves, I'm hoping, there's no guarantees, but I'm hoping that things get better from here. I know for me personally, live streaming seems like it would be better suited in terms of Let's Plays these days. And honestly, I'm looking forward to it, because that means I can actually chat with you guys a little bit more often. I know I don't chat a lot with you guys, in which case I do apologize, but keep in mind too, I technically work. So, being able to chat with you guys on and on basics. Now, record, there hasn't been a lot of topics that we talked about, but at the end of the day, it feels like anytime you talk about something, whether it's like a video error, or like say, hey, this is actually a pretty cool video, or hey, nice job, or something like that, or hell, there's been a few people that I've actually been talking to, and honestly, I've talked to those particular people more than any other else, and I'm like, this is kind of what I want. You know, I want a community where we can all eventually chat, you know? Sort of like a big group of friends or whatever, you know? That's not to say that it will be exactly how I envision it, but it's something that's nice to think about from time to time. But at any rate, though, I just want to go ahead and inform you guys of the information that we're finally moving out and kind of give you details as to prepare yourself as to when everything's going to get started and stuff like that. And I'm hoping to get it done before we move and stuff. But I do have a new trailer that I want to release for the channel. So thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you in the next video. This is BlackCross signing off. And until I'll see you in the next video, which means that I will be moved into the apartment. Take care, guys.